I'm Pam, and I would like to welcome you to the Live Authentically show. My team and I help other people step into their authentic realities via a number of different modalities. This show is obviously one of them. We also have a Facebook group of like minded people committed to spiritual growth and transformation, and you can find us at liveauthentically.today/FB. I'm also super pumped that I have launched my debut book. It's called SOAR, SOAR. It's on Amazon, and it's an experiential spiritual journey through my divorce process and shows how I partnered with the universe to create my new reality. So I am super excited that on my show today, I have Russ Juson. Hey, Russ.
Hi, good evening here from the Philippines.
Yeah, good evening and good morning to everyone else, and wherever you're calling from, or wherever you're tuning in from. Welcome. Super excited to have Russ with us today. He is a life and wealth coach, and he has some amazing knowledge he's going to share with us today. And I'm also super pumped because he has recently made a really big move, which is super authentic to who he is. So stay tuned for more on that. I'm super excited to get into the details on that. But before we do that, I'd like to start my show off with the same question that I ask all of my guests. And that question is, how do you live authentically every day?
Wow, that's a powerful question. And it's
Yeah.
really understanding that the most important role that I have for myself is just to nurture, create such an amazing space that I can take care of myself and just
Mhm.
being able to just dig deep inside and just really unfold all the things that I thought who I was or who I am and just being there right there and then. And the best practice for me is just sitting down, being still, 4 a.m. in the morning for 2 3 hours a day,
Mhm.
just to just get into that space. And I just love the experience because I'm guided authentically, not being able to just allow the world to dictate how they want me to live my life, but being able to dictate how I want my life to be. And I think that's the highest joy for me personally.
Beautiful. And I love that you start your day off in such a centered and just aware place. So I'd love to talk about your morning a little bit because for me, my morning is my favorite part of the day. I set my alarm for 5 a.m., but lately I've been actually waking up earlier and earlier. And so now I'm like waking up on my own at 4:30 because those morning hours are just so magical. They're just energetically so quiet and peaceful. And I feel like I can really just align with who I am and really start the day from a very proactive and centered and grounded and peaceful place. So would love to hear more about what you do to get your day started.
Yeah, morning. Normally, I wake up like 3:30 or 3 a.m., but worst case that is 4 a.m. So the moment I wake up, I go sit down in my space wherein I just sit down and
Hmm.
just really be in a space of silence, being calm, being peaceful, and allowing thoughts to just show up and let it go. Thoughts show up and let it go until I'm just there, right and there, and then connecting to my highest source, my highest truth.
Hmm.
And after which I always do my oil pulling. It's very therapeutic for me. Okay, so it allowed me to cleanse all of the things. And then, yeah, I do my morning yoga. So I enjoy
Okay.
yoga. So I practice yoga. And
Hmm.
then I guess almost every day I listen to an hour or two with Wayne Dyer for the past 10 years. And
Okay.
it's been a great source of me working on my ego.
Uh-huh.
And
Uh-huh.
the rest of the day seriously becomes really perfect simply because I felt I'm really guided because of how I start my day.
I love that. Love how you mentioned, the ego, because that's a big piece of this journey is moving from the ego, not totally eradicating the ego, but moving from the ego into the soul and learning how to transmute those egoic thoughts, those egoic energies into fuel for our mission. So I'm curious on your journey, what has been the most difficult part of the ego for you to overcome?
I think being able to just live a life in the past wherein it's always has been, I identify myself with the success I've had in the past,
Okay.
wherein recognition is big thing for me,
Hmm.
wherein approval of people around me is big thing for me. And I guess I'm now 50 years old, no, but at age 35, I had all the success that I can ever imagine in my entire life, and people who I know in terms of business, in terms of career, in terms of money. But I also felt I was at the lowest in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, it allowed me to just go internal, because I've went to all of these things that will help me solve my problem. And I think it was a life coach who taught me, who put me at a certain level of awareness that whatever is going on externally, it's actually deep inside of the meaning who I give myself into, which means who
Mm-hmm.
I am should be approved by people around me, especially seeking approval from the most, influential people in my life, which are my parents, which I
Mm-hmm.
never got as a little child. So I thought all of this success, all of these awards, all of this money would, you know, allow people to approve, to like me. And the
Mm-hmm.
more I become successful, the more I am detached with who I am. And I started to forget who I was, because it was all about everyone. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that was the biggest struggle. And being able to just acknowledge that, it is being able to see whether I become a hostage of my need to be liked, my need for approval, or being able to surrender to my highest truth that I am okay, even
Mm-hmm.
if others don't think I am not okay. Being able to be at peace with it, being
Yeah.
able to just, the only approval I need is myself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So where do you look for fulfillment now?
I look for fulfillment right now. It's just really living my massive transformative purpose, which is celebrating a world where everyone celebrates abundance.
Mm-hmm.
And my purpose really is transforming myself so I can help transform others with abundance consciousness. And I do talks left and right, okay, of which will allow people to see things differently. Okay, I do like calls every day, and I also apply it in all of my businesses that are not working. And one of the most important things here in my business is I'm bringing in soul in every organization. Okay,
Okay.
according to the study of Gallup survey, that the organization of the world is so sick. Okay, why? Because it's run by ego. It's all about numbers. It's all about profit. It's all about who's biggest, who's better, at what stake, right?
Right.
You know,
Right.
at
The cost.
yeah, at a huge cost. So
Yeah.
especially humanity, especially people who's working for the company.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because they treat people as machine. We
Right.
treat people as numbers,
Right.
production, all of this. So what I am, excited about is a lot of companies are now open to look at people not as machine, but look at people as wholeness,
Yeah.
meaning a human being will have physical body, which is health, emotional, which is heart,
Mm-hmm.
mental, which is growth, but
Mm-hmm.
above all, understanding that we're all spiritual being,
Right.
right? And putting that into an organization. And the moment we introduce this organization, the organization becomes, a whole ball of white light wherein it's just operating by the spirit,
Right.
will led well,
Mm-hmm.
and growth, which I should say exponential, is happening.
Mm-hmm.
And that really excites us, because people come in not because they have to, they come in because they want to, because they're treated like a human being, spiritual being,
Mm-hmm.
and every aspect of the humanity is being raised. So I find fulfillment around it simply because I see transformation happening in front of me,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
everyone's stepping it, and a lot of people in my space are doing the same work. So
Mm-hmm.
hopefully in my lifetime, okay, the only work that I would always see, that hopefully everyone's number one ultimate priority is to treasure their own divinity, meaning being
Mm-hmm.
able to find that who they are is not the body, but it's a spirit. It's a highest source that's being connected to there, and we just have to go and surrender around it. And hopefully the world will be peaceful. The world will be, supporting Mother Nature, supporting each other, where love is more important than fear.
Right. I love that. Such a beautiful answer. And yeah, I mean, living and leading, serving through the soul really is a win-win for everyone. It's a win-win for employees. It's and for employers as well. Because not only do you have happy, fulfilled, energized, appreciated employees, but you also have a company that has heightened morale, bolstered retention, enhanced productivity. And ultimately that all flows through to the bottom line. But it,
Definitely. Yeah,
yeah,
I mean, I see a lot of CEOs, president of a huge company. They don't have life. It's all about work.
yeah.
Why? Because they need to control things. They need to
Mm,
command things.
yeah.
But if you move from command and control to
Yeah.
allowing people to be who they are, three
Yeah.
things can happen. Number one, everyone becomes self-managed. You need not to manage everyone because, yeah, the motivation is not coming from external, but the motivation is coming from within. When they're
Hmm.
self-managed, they become self-motivated, meaning the motivation is not about what's going on outside, but it's about the excitement, the fulfillment that I feel when I do my work. But
Yeah.
more than that, it's really self-sustained, wherein we retain people, and that's the
Mhm.
greatest gift that maybe I can give to every entrepreneurs who's so tired, who finds, you know, running after numbers, running after this, who's bigger, who's better, at what expense? Broken relationship. At what expense? Health. And,
Right.
and it translates to everyone in the organization,
Hmm.
meaning we a lot of organization right now is soulless.
Hmm.
And my mission really here is to bring in soul into every organization wherein we treat everyone like a human being, not a human doing.
Yeah, I love that. And this really, this really speaks to the need for rebalancing of energies, rebalancing of the divine energies, because of much of what the energies are now in terms of leadership is, it's very masculine, right? It's that, constant doing, constant producing, controlling, forcing, making stuff happen, being in that constant motion, and sometimes even bordering on forcing things, right? Forcing a particular outcome. But the magic really happens when you balance that divine masculine energy with the divine feminine energies of relaxing and surrendering and allowing and being open and being in receiving mode and flowing and really tapping into your intuition. And you can't get there unless you're super connected with who you are. So I can see that you have a lot to say around this because you just like lit up when I started talking about this. So at
You
this
know,
moment, I'm
it's
going to just hand this right over to you, pass the baton.
yeah. I mean,
You're going to
last
run with
yeah,
this.
yeah. I mean, last year was I mean, in one of my business is one of my business is around insurance, no, and the
Yeah.
moment lockdown happened in the country, okay, everyone panicked,
Yeah.
and the whole year was like 50, 60, 70% down.
Hmm.
Our organization, the moment lockdown happened, okay, we were all excited. Why? Because there's huge things happening. We
Hmm.
doubled every metrics we had last year.
Okay.
Everyone's going down. Why? Because I think we are not really an organization where it's sales or it's insurance, it's finances, but we are actually a meditation company.
Hmm.
We're in as a group, we meditate together, we believe in intuition, and we're led to
Yeah.
prepare ourselves on the biggest maybe crisis, that we're ready to rock and roll.
Hmm.
And meaning, if I put this in a real context, we always believe as an organization, it's not by might, meaning it's not by hard work, nor by power, the intelligence, but allowing the spirit to flow and move to direction where we need to be,
Hmm.
direction where we want to be. And the hashtag that we'd always say, have everything, do nothing, is real for us because yeah, we're one of the biggest, we're one of the most expansive exponential growth in the industry. But
Hmm.
here's the thing, we're not busy, we're excited. Okay, and
Yeah.
and all we do is to make sure that our ultimate number one priority is to really sit down, being still, and
Yeah.
be guided, and
Yeah.
that becomes more exciting.
Hmm.
and
I
and
love that.
again, yeah, that becomes so exciting. I mean,
Yeah.
when we move, there's no more fear, it's all courage, it's all
Hmm.
excitement. Why? Because we don't know what we don't know, but it's really taking a look at into stepping into an infinite possibility of what's going to happen, wherein we just all surrender. No, we
Mhm.
don't have any prayer of we want this, we want that. Our prayer is always, today let your will be done.
Yeah.
Use me, do the things. But the mindset is all about, how can I serve? How can I support? How
Mhm.
can I expand? How can I just really make sure that, to anyone and everyone who I meet, whether I get business from them or not, it's all about, how may I serve?
Yes. Yes. I love that. And this is a perfect segue to where I wanted to go next because I wanted to really talk about delineating the energies of contraction mode with the energies of expansion mode. You use the word expand, you use the word serve, abundance. Those are all obviously expansive energies. So, we can't get there. We pinch ourselves off from all of the unlimited love and peace and joy and abundance and empowerment, enlightenment, all of those higher energies, which we're seeking, but we hold ourselves down in contraction mode when we are overworking and when we're stressed and when we're feeling guilty, when we're in the energies of blame and shame, because they're lower vibrational energies. There's a gravity to them, right? We're naturally pulled to them because that's just what we know. That's how we're conditioned. And it really is work to get up into those higher energies. So I'd love to hear you talk about the importance of making conscious decisions, of staying in those higher energies so that we can receive all of the unlimited abundance, joy, peace,
Yeah.
etc., that's available to all of us in unlimited quantities.
Yeah, again, we're very clear that our vision in our organization is a world where everyone celebrates abundance. Okay,
Yeah.
and our mission is transforming lives, transforming ourselves. So we can transform others through abundance consciousness. So we understand that the work that we do here is not really the work itself or the business itself, but it's really change of consciousness, change
Yeah.
of how we think, how we feel, how we move. But it's really being able to allow our emotion to be our guiding system to
Mm-hmm.
move us to where we want to go. So which means we don't have targets, we don't have goals. Yes, we have intention, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the intention is to 10x what we did last year versus this year, right?
Right.
However, what's the action plan? Is to 10x our consciousness re-engineering, working deeper on the way we think, the way we act, the way
Mm-hmm.
we feel. And the most magical part around it is everything just follow the way it should follow. Right
Mm-hmm.
timing, perfect timing. And hard work is not even part of our game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And, I've always said one person in that place of alignment can accomplish more in 1 year than one person who is not aligned can accomplish in 100 years. And I say that with no judgment, obviously, but just to bring awareness about this is all about alignment. Obviously, we need to take spiritually aligned action steps. We have to exercise commitment and persistence and all of that. We actually have to do things. We can't just
Yeah,
sit and meditate on a rock all day. But I'd like to hear you talk about alignment and what you do to stay aligned, because it's very obvious to me that you are, which is why you are able to operate the way that you do and live in that state of flow. And you don't feel like you work. It's not about the grit. It's not about the grind. It's not about slaying it every single day. It's more about making sure your mind, body, and spirit are nourished so that you can stay aligned.
definitely. When I see, small micro groups in our team who's not performing the way they want it, it's all
Mm-hmm.
heaviness. I
Mm-hmm.
don't I don't ask them what they do. The first question I ask them, what are your bags? Which are blame, anger, guilt, and shame. The
Yeah.
moment they start to understand their bags, blame, anger, guilt, and shame, do you still want to carry this?
Yeah.
Or do you want to allow this to continue? Or, you know, the ultimate name of the game is forgiveness,
Mm-hmm.
compassion, letting
Right.
it go. Okay, so again, they all know these terms. If something's happening and it's really out of alignment in terms of results, we
Mm-hmm.
go back to not the hard work, not the strategy, not the market, but it's what's the bags? Blame,
Yeah.
anger, guilt, and shame. And we know there's a lot of bags when we talk to people because we see drama going on. Okay, all the resentment, all the resistance, all the revenge that's going on. We see justification, excuses, and we
Mm-hmm.
see a lot of BS going on. And again, at the end of the day, if it's an organization pattern, the first job that we have here is not really train people to do our business. Our first job here is to really make sure that your only job for now is to understand what personal mastery is,
Mm-hmm.
and diving deep into who I am, because the level of my personal mastery will equate to the level of the result that I want to do. After we engage people to a certain personal mastery, we have some practices, we have some tools that we introduce to them. Then we give them second thing, which is what we call um, mental models. What are the new ways of thinking? Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and one of the most important mental models we have is no one left behind. So meaning if I'm doing good and the person beside me is not doing good, we're not doing good at all. So
Yeah.
we have now a golden opportunity to support each other, to bring each other up. So versus competition. Okay,
Yeah.
that's a new mental model. Okay, but that
Mm-hmm.
will only happen when number three is we have shared vision, meaning
Mm-hmm.
we are aligned with our personal vision.
Yeah.
Okay, whether it's health, it's environment, it's education, but it's really taking a look at on creating a new consciousness that's showing up right now in the age of Aquarius. Okay, and moving to that is we only can sustain it when we have learning organization wherein everyone is learning, everyone's plugging in. No, in fact, all of my leaders, all of my managers, no, will have to have at least one 5 a.m. meeting on a once a week, and all we talk about what ego needs showed up this week and how were you able to overcome it and what will be your practice next week. So
Okay.
we never talk about business strategy. We never talk about business plan. Nothing. All we
Mm-hmm.
talk about is who you are and who you are not, and who do you want to be moving forward. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But for this to be sustainable and profitable, since we're talking about organization, systems thinking. Okay. Wherein we put everything into systems. We put everything out there to support people. So when they're new, because there's a huge number of people coming in, they just have to plug into the system and the structure. And we know if they're not doing it because the result will always show.
Okay. Okay. Love that. I wanted to talk a little bit about EQ. You used the word emotion earlier, and that really is the underlying component of all of this. Really tapping into your emotions, and I think that's one of the best kept secrets in this world is that we attract based on our emotional state. We attract based on our emotions. So once you move out of that blame, anger, guilt, shame that you talked about, those are again those lower vibrational states. So that's what when we're holding ourselves in those places, that's what we attract more of. So this really is an exercise of shoring up the EQ to
Yeah.
meet our IQ. I think there's so much focus on the IQ. So I'd love to hear you talk about that and the EQ versus the IQ and the importance of really doing that work around the EQ.
Um, I have a term that I use. It's called AQ. It's adversity quotient. Okay.
I
The
love that.
faster you pick yourself from falling, meaning the faster you forgive, the faster you let go of the things that are not working, the more you can move forward. Of course, we always say we respect, when we coach people, we respect emotion because that's real. Okay. Do not question people that don't be hurt. It's just think positively. No, I was hurt. I'm angry, and you have to honor the emotion. However,
Yeah.
how long will that stay? How long will you take for you to shift? Because the
Mhm.
longer you stay in resentment, upset,
Yeah.
irritation,
Yeah.
anger, the longer you are out of alignment of who you are, right? Because again, this emotion becomes now a mood, and
Mm-hmm.
a mood now will set the context of your life.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where we are now. So again, our steps and process is number one. Okay, recognize that yeah, there's resentment because at the end of the day, we're just human being. Okay, resentment will show up, and it's natural for you to be in a state of resentful. Okay, but you need to start releasing the resentment, because if you don't release the resentment and it stays there long enough, hard enough, it becomes a cancer,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yep.
And the moment you start releasing it energetically, okay, from body, heart, and mind soul level, okay,
Mm-hmm.
releasing it energetically, you now start to reframe,
Yeah.
meaning how can I grow from this? How can I use this to move me to my next level? How
Yeah.
can I see a blessing in this things that I didn't like, but you know what, this is the greatest gift the universe is presenting to me, because This is gonna prepare me for our biggest dream and wildest dream. Wow, this is such a great blessing. Looking at it from a shitty point of view to a blessing point of view. But
Mm-hmm.
again, at the end of the day, all of these three are useless not unless you start to rebuild on a
Mm-hmm.
day-to-day basis. Because at the end of the day, working with people, the only thing I'll guarantee is there will always be upset,
Yeah.
there will always be hurt. But what I will always say, even if you're hurt, even if there's resentment or irritation, trust that you'll always be okay because you take care of yourself every day, that there's no amount of hurt, anger will stop you from creating, because you rebuild yourself on a day-to-day basis, meaning you are able to welcome people in your life, because
Mm-hmm.
there's no guarantee they won't hurt you, there's no guarantee they won't betray you. But the only guarantee here, if people does that to you, you're okay. Why? Because you're rebuilding yourself day in, day out. And the only thing that I would always ask my people when they come to me for coaching, only one question. Would you like to know what question?
Yeah, I'd love to know.
How's your daily morning routine? And 100% of the time, if you know they're in trouble, say, yeah, I haven't been faithful. Go back to your daily morning routine.
Yeah.
After a week, they go back to me, they're happy and excited.
Yeah. Amen to that. I mean, I wholeheartedly believe in that. I mean, I am absolutely addicted to my morning routine, and it really does set the trajectory for my day. So that is something that, I encourage all of my clients to do is find a morning routine, design a morning routine that works for them. So yeah, I love that. And it really is a process of training the mind. Like you talk about moving out of resentment and moving out of hurt. Like you said, it's important to validate and honor the emotions, but it really is up to the individual person to do the work in that moment. And I even find, even where I am now, even though I'm coaching other people and a spiritual awakener, enlightener, whatever title you want to give it, it's still a practice for me. It's still a moment to moment practice of coaching myself, right? It's about making the unconscious conscious. So, you do have to adopt a different dialogue and run your thoughts through a different filter. And like you said, reframe. And, I have a choice here. Do I stay stuck in resentment, or do I decide to move out of it? Do I ask myself, what is the lesson in this? Where can I find gratitude in this? How can I learn from myself? How can I extend compassion or empathy to someone else? How can I expand my mind a little bit and try to see this situation through someone else's point of view? But it is a moment to moment practice of retraining the mind.
It
And that's
is.
really where, it's such a fascinating, exhilarating journey, but it is hard work. So I'd love to hear you talk about that too, for, and just acknowledge and shed some light on the fact that, this soul work, at least, I mean, I don't think it's easy. I think it's hard to do it in many respects. It's hard. It requires a radical level of accountability and
Agreed.
authenticity and honesty and courage and vulnerability. That is really hard to do. So I'd love to hear you talk about that,
Yeah.
but also
I mean,
highlight the said benefits.
the authentic me is all about treasuring the divine, spiritual being in me, which
Mhm.
on this nature is all about love,
Yeah.
non-judgmental, non-attachment, okay, non-competition, okay.
Mm-hmm.
But the moment I hear something, I see something, it still is showing up.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's not the. I mean, the beauty around doing my daily morning routine, it allows me to be more sensitive with listening to the thoughts, what's going on with me, the awareness that, okay,
Mm-hmm.
Russ, great job judging. Be aware. Because after I judge, I move, I start talking about it, criticism,
Yeah.
congratulations. Then, the longer I stay there, it becomes condemnation. Great job. But
Mm-hmm.
but it's really just being aware around it. I'm not saying I'm perfect around it. Even today, I still went into judgment, criticism, condemnation, but it becomes lesser and lesser and lesser and more aware. And
Mm-hmm.
hopefully, maybe after 100 years, I'm able to practice really clean, pure connection with alignment. Here's
Mm-hmm.
the thing, okay? I guess for the very first time in my entire life, okay, since October 9 last year, okay, I promised myself, no if, no but, to do my an hour or two every day, 3 to 4 a.m., 5 a.m. to 6 a.m. meditation.
Okay.
right? And it allowed me to be more compassionate. It allowed me to really see the world differently, and the way I move, the way I act. Biggest benefit, um, finances, right? Yeah, last 2 weeks ago was my birthday, 50th birthday,
Happy belated birthday.
right? And I could never imagine the amount of income that's coming into me
Mm-hmm.
simply because of maybe this practice that since I'm just, you know, looking at myself as abundance, as a
Yeah.
source of abundance, and the source of, I mean, all of this reaction that people have, that I have, is because there's fear, and fear is now being fueled because of scarcity.
Mm-hmm.
So because I now start to sit down and be relaxed, and just know that even if I don't do anything, I'm already complete. Having that thoughts.
Yeah. Yeah.
So basically, my only job here is be still and just allow my authentic self to show up, and all the thoughts that are not who I am is being cleansed, and
Mm-hmm.
and basically I'm now transcending myself into a new space wherein, all of my heart's desires just happening.
Mm-hmm.
um Whether it's health, it's relationship, it's money, people, fulfillment, it's being able to just allow myself to be in a space of receiving,
Mm-hmm.
simply because of this practice. And I cannot not overemphasize, if I need to kneel down and wash your feet and kiss your feet and say, do this for 1 year, I'm gonna tell you, it's working, it's working, it's working. Although sometimes it doesn't, because we're patient. We want to make something happen in front of us. Versus, okay, just allow the universe to conspire and to do this work for you. And the practice is just sit down and do nothing and wait, sit down and wait until
Yeah.
beautiful things happen. Seriously,
It
beautiful things happen.
really, they really do. And it's all about living in that state of surrender. It's about just handing it over and just, like you said, doing the work from the inside out, nourishing our mind, body, and spirit, raising our vibration, and then just allowing and just opening ourselves up and just trusting in the universe's plan, trusting in divine timing.
Yeah. I would always say that my only job right now, okay, I have several businesses. I take care of a lot of organization as a consultant.
Mm-hmm.
I do a lot of things all together, but again, I'm not overwhelmed. Okay, I feel that work and play becomes one. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
the level of creativity and the ability to bend reality is great, simply because of these two practices. Number one, my only job here is the moment I wake up, I plug into the source,
Mm-hmm.
and the moment I sleep, I still plug into the source. Meaning, anything in between, he's gonna take care of it.
Yeah.
That means inspired action, meaning I do not plan. Whatever I need will just show up. Whoever I need to meet will just show up. Wherever I need to be will just happen. Why? Because anything in between is inspired action, meaning in spirit. But how do I get access into that? Plug in the moment you wake up,
Mm-hmm.
plug in the moment you sleep. Anything in between, he's gonna take care for you.
Yeah. Beautiful. I love that. So, I'd love to take a few minutes to talk about your recent move. I know that a lot of what you've been able to achieve in this world is has been achieved by your practices, your mindset, your belief system, etc., and the inspired actions you take on a daily basis. But you've really just launched yourself to a whole new level by making you made a truly authentic move recently that's totally aligned with who you are. So I would love to hear more about that.
Yeah, it's really a huge move, simply because I grew up in the city. I grew up in, all of this, you know, high streets. And
Mm-hmm.
all of a sudden, COVID showed up. Okay. And I realized that everything that I can do exponentially is via online.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, okay, my 65 or 70-year-old dream, which is to live in the middle of rainforest. It's gonna happen this year before I turn 50. So March this year, I moved to, a 28,000 square meters, or it's a 2.8 hectare of pure. I don't know if you can hear all the birds chirping around me, but it's
Yeah,
pure rainforest.
I love that.
We have 100-year-old trees. The
Mhm.
water is pure. It's off the grid, and I just feel that everything is just inspiration. I mean, even if there's huge things going on that I know it's happening, I
Mhm.
cannot even think about it, because the moment I just see all of this,
Yeah,
it's just, oh wow, beautiful. Thank you.
right.
Thank you. It's all gratitude. And walking barefoot every day, tilling the soil, it's just a pure, solid connection,
Mm-hmm.
untainted. And every time I bring in guests here, um, people have cancer, people have, anxiety. When they live here, okay, on a soul level, they're healed.
Mm-hmm.
How do I know? Okay, they start to think differently.
Mm-hmm.
They started finding out their purpose. And it's such a wonderful place that, again, environment and places can also be part of the things we want to consider when we want to be more authentic about ourselves.
For sure. Yep. Thank you for sharing that. I love that. And yeah, nature is obviously the highest vibration out there. I mean, anytime, I mean, even for our viewers and listeners, obviously many of us don't have the opportunity to just uproot and, move to rainforest, but we can all do that, I think, on a micro level, on a scale down level, every single day. So what are some ideas that you have for our viewers and listeners to get out there and really enjoy nature?
Um, yeah, when I used to live in a city, there's always a park somewhere. So once a week, okay, I go out and park somewhere, and then there's a small piece of land wherein there's grass, there's a tree. I just go barefoot, walk, and just breathe in, breathe out, and just allowing myself to just ground barefoot. Okay, that can be one. Okay, maybe at home you can have plants and maybe play meditation music for your plants. Okay, animals can be one, because we don't judge animals. I mean, being able to just see yourself in a space wherein a lot of things are living things that you are surrounded with, more than just concrete, more than just things that are made up by human being. Just being able to just surround myself with even when I was still living in Manila in a condo, um,
Mhm.
my entire place was like a forest. I mean, we have really nice green plants, we have fishes, we have cats, we have dogs, and it's just allowing ourselves to, again, practice non-judgmental.
Mhm.
Okay? Because you cannot dictate how the plant will grow. You cannot. I mean, it's just you appreciating what's in front of you, and if you don't like what's in front of you, you start taking care of it.
Mhm.
And if that's how I live my life, for sure, looking at this nature, perhaps that's also a practice that I can do with myself.
Beautiful. I love that. So yeah, I encourage everyone to get out there and spend some time, a little, even just a little bit of time every day, at least 15 minutes, and just
Yeah.
enjoy nature. So, well, we are just about wrapped up for today. I could totally sit here and talk to you for hours. This has been absolutely amazing. But before we officially wrap up, is there anything else that you'd like to share with our viewers and listeners?
Well, perhaps for everyone out there, if you truly want to live a life wherein everything that you want is available for you, and it's all available, it's all possible. The
Mhm.
only work that I do, that I may share with you, is really change my consciousness. And the consciousness starts with being able to just have a practice of just letting go of the things that you cannot control. Okay,
Mhm.
through a lot of new practices. Now, in fact, I was able to create a 20-minute, accidentally recorded myself while I was leading a remember who you are meditation. Universe or God. And therefore, if I am a beautiful creation of the universe or God, Therefore, who I am is number one. I am compassion and forgiveness. So
Mm-hmm.
we get into that and allow ourselves to sit down and just every day flush all the heaviness every day. You can forgive the same person over and over and over again until they're really forgiven on an energetic level. Who you are is gratitude, meaning being able to just speak what you're grateful about. Who you are is also being able to just see in your mind's eye how you can declare whatever you want to happen in your life, in health, in relationship, in all aspects. Okay, and who you are is visualization, being able to lead yourself into visualizing a perfect end result, a perfect picture. Who you are is self-love. Okay, being able to just give yourself a hug on a day-to-day basis. Okay, and I played that song "You Are So Beautiful" and just really singing that to yourself, going back to just the only approval I need is myself.
Yeah.
But above all, who you are is surrender, meaning you don't have to ask anything from the universe. He knows what you want. But the only prayer you have of surrender is, let your will be done. Use me today because I'm willing to be used by you.
Oh, that is so beautiful. Thank you. And thank you so much for being here. I so appreciate you being here and sharing your wisdom with all of us. And I'm delighted our paths have crossed. Thank
You're
you. And
welcome. And I appreciate being here.
thank you. I look forward to staying connected. And to all of our viewers and listeners, I appreciate you. So thank you again for being here. And I hope everyone has an amazing day. Bye.